When a calm black woman was denied her first-class seat, the flight crew smirked, assuming she'd accept the insult quietly. The purser rolled her eyes, the captain refused to intervene, and passengers watched as she was told, "That seat's not for you." But the woman they humiliated wasn't just any passenger. She was the CEO of the entire airline, flying under review. 5 minutes later, the plane never left the gate. And before anyone understood what was happening, every crew member was already fired. When a calm black woman was denied her first-class seat, the humiliation wasn't loud. It was surgical. Every smirk, every whispered word carried the same message. You don't belong here. What no one knew was that this quiet passenger, Dr. Amara Holt, wasn't flying for comfort. She was flying for truth. Amara was the CEO of Holt Aviation Group, the parent company that owned the very airline she was boarding. For 6 months, she had watched reports of declining service, rising complaints, and arrogance among flight crews. She decided to see it for herself. Unannounced, unescorted, and undercover. The test began the moment she approached the gate. The attendant barely looked up. "Economy's boarding next," she said dismissively. "I'm seated in first class," Amara replied calmly. The attendant's tone sharpened. "May I see your ticket?" Amara handed over her phone. The boarding pass glowed on the screen. Seat 1A, Dr. Amara Holt. The attendant's smile faltered, but pride held her tongue. "Right. Proceed." When Amara stepped onto the plane, she greeted the flight attendants warmly. Only one responded. The others exchanged glances, that quiet, coded arrogance that didn't need words. She reached seat 1A. Another woman was sitting there, Lena Ford. The purser in charge of the flight, Amara spoke gently. "I believe this is my seat." Lena didn't move. "This section's full," she said. "You must be mistaken." "I'm not," Amara replied. "My boarding pass confirms it." Lena folded her arms. "We'll handle this later." "You can take 3C until I sort it out." A man in the next row chuckled. "Should have booked early," he muttered. The captain's voice echoed from the cockpit. "Flight crew, let's move it along." Amara didn't argue. She quietly sat in 3C, her mind already recording everything. Within minutes, Lena strutted through the aisle with forced authority. "Ma'am," she said coldly, "security's requested verification of your ticket. It seems the system doesn't list you in first class." "Then check again," Amara replied evenly. But Lena had already made her decision. "Please gather your things." "You're delaying the flight." Passengers stared. Some sympathetic, most curious. It wasn't the first time a woman of color had been questioned mid-boarding, but this time the crew had no idea who they were targeting. Amara stood slowly. "You're certain about this decision?" she asked. "Absolutely," Lena said with confidence she hadn't earned. Amara stepped aside, allowing the cameras to see everything. "Then let's make sure it's recorded correctly." Within minutes, the plane's door was sealed again, but not for takeoff. The captain's radio buzzed with confusion. Ground control had just received an override order labeled Code Indigo, Priority Halt. The pilot frowned. "What the hell is Code Indigo?" His phone rang. It was corporate operations. "Captain Reynolds, you're to hold the aircraft." "Do not move. Under whose authority?" He demanded a pause. Then the voice replied, "The owners." The door reopened. 3 executives from headquarters boarded the plane, flanked by airport security. Passengers began whispering. Lena froze when she saw them approach her row. "Ms. Ford," one executive said sternly, "please step aside." "What's going on?" she asked, her confidence draining fast. He turned toward Amara, who stood silently near the galley. "Dr. Holt," he said with reverence, "we were told you were conducting an anonymous review." "We had no idea." Lena's face went pale. "Dr. Holt?" she stammered. Amara's eyes met hers, calm, steady, surgical. "Yes, the seat you denied belongs to me, and so does this airline." The cabin went silent. "Even the engines seem to stop breathing." I wanted to see how my people treat customers when no one's watching, Amara continued. Now I know. Lena's lips trembled. Dr. Holt, Amara held up a hand. No, you had every chance to choose respect over pride. She turned to the captain. And you allowed it. You heard the exchange. You did nothing. Captain Reynolds lowered his gaze. Ma'am, You'll both surrender your credentials to corporate immediately, she said. This crew is relieved of duty, effective now, passengers gasped. Phones came out. A woman whispered, Is this real? The executive nodded to security. Escort the dismissed personnel from the aircraft. As Lena was led out, Amara spoke quietly but clearly. Remember this moment. You didn't lose your job because of me. You lost it because you couldn't recognize respect when it was standing in front of you. The new crew boarded within 15 minutes. Calm returned. Passengers applauded, not for entertainment this time, but admiration. As the plane finally took off, one passenger leaned over. Dr. Holt, was that all planned? Amara gave a faint smile. Every flight is a test. Some people just fail faster. Hours later, when the jet landed, reporters were already waiting. The story had exploded online. CEO fired entire crew mid-flight for discrimination. In her press conference, Amara spoke with composure. This isn't about punishment, she said. It's about accountability. No title, no uniform, no position, excuses, disrespect. Every passenger deserves dignity. Period. That night, news anchors replayed her words like scripture. Airline boards across the world issued emergency memos. And somewhere in a quiet office, Lena Ford watched the broadcast, realizing her arrogance had become the lesson of the year. As for Amara Holt, she didn't celebrate. She didn't gloat. She simply returned to work, rebuilding her airline with one simple mission engraved on every crew badge. Respect isn't a service. It's the standard, because the woman they denied a seat didn't just reclaim it, she reclaimed the skies themselves. If you believe respect should never depend on a uniform, prove it. Like this video, share it everywhere, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from and what moment hit you hardest. Subscribe today and turn on notifications so you never miss stories where dignity takes command.